Good morning, students. Myself Deepali Harchande. Today we are going to see the poem The Inchcape Rock, written by Robert Southey. Here is a picture of Robert Southey, who has been written the poem The Inchcape Rock. Now let's see first the information about poet. That is very important. Once we come to know about the poet information, we get the plot or theme of the poem. Here, The Inchcape Rock is a ballad written by English poet Robert Southey. The poem has been published in 1802. It tells the story of a 14th century attempt by the abbot of Aberbrothock to install a warning bell on Inchcape, a notorious sandstone reef about 11 miles, that is 18 kilometers, off the east coast of Scotland. Robert Southey was an English poet of the Romantic school. Romantic means the poems which has been written on the nature. The poet who is writing about the natural beauty, who is writing about the nature, that poet is known as a romantic poet. Here, and poet laureate from 1813 until his death. Like the other Lake poets, William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Southey had begun as a radical but became steadily more conservative as he acquired respect for Britain and its institutions. Let's see the life of the Robert Southey. He had born on 12th August 1774 at Bristol in United Kingdom, and he passed away on 21st March 1843 in London, United Kingdom. Few poems has been popular or famous. The few names of the poems are: very first is The Inchcape Rock, second Thabala and Destroyer, next is After Blenheim, next Curse of Kehema, then Madoc, and many more poems are there. Now we will see few famous books written by Robert Southey. The Life of Horatio, then Lord Nelson, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Cutons Infantiles con Moraleja, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Cataract of Lador, The Life of Nelson, Volume 1, The Remains of Henry Kirke White, History of Brazil. These are few popular books published by Robert Southey. Then Southey was inspired by the legendary story of a pirate who removed the bell on the Inchcape Rock placed by Aberbrothock. The poem gives us message that those who do wrong things will meet with due punishment. As we have seen, The Inchcape Rock is a ballad. But few short poems also has been published by him, like The Scholar, The Battle of Blenheim, Bishop Hatto, The Inchcape Rock, etc. Now we'll see the basic theme of the poem. It is that those who do bad things will ultimately be punished. Accordingly, and poetic justice was done. The poem Inchcape Rock teaches a moral lesson: as you sow, so shall you reap. The poem proves the principle that crime gets its own punishment. Now we'll see what is the message we get from the poem before going through the stanza wise explanation. It is in very short. The message is: the poem Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey delivers the message that one should not willingly cause harm to others. If they do, they would be punished in the end. In other words, it's as you sow, so shall you reap. It is your work that pays back to us. It means, in simple way, if you do good deeds or bad deeds, you will get the result in a reverse way. So always one should do the good deeds, one should behave properly, one should treat others properly, so they will get in return the respect and the same good treatment. Now next part is very important. In that part we need to do the analysis of poem. If we see the analysis, we'll come to know few points. That is, a ballad is a long, means the poem is too lengthy. The narrative poem that tells a story. Actually the poet has been explained a short story through the poem. The Inchcape Rock tells the story of a wicked pirate who cuts off the bell on the Inchcape Rock, which was put there by an abbot. He did so out of selfish motive and envy. In the end, his own ship crashes against the rock and is drowned in the sea. See here, I have put one picture of Inchcape Rock's poem. See how his ship has got drowned in the water, and the problem faced by the poet. These are two pictures, and with the help of this picture you could understand what was the situation of the poet's boat or the situation of the Inchcape Rock. Now I am reading the poem. You just listen carefully and listen the pronunciations also. The Inchcape Rock. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. The abbot of Aberbrothok had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm, it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothok. The sun in heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled around, and there was joyance in their sound. The buoy of the Inchcape Bell was seen, a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck, and he fixed the eye on the darker speck. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. His eye was on the Inchcape float. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, my men, put out the boat, and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I will plague the abbot of Aberbrothock. The boat is lowered, the boatman row, and the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat, and he cut the bale from the Inchcape float. Down sunk the bale with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbrothock. Sir Ralph the rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now, grown rich with a plundered store, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. So thick a haze o'erspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. On the deck the rower takes his stand, so dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon. Canst hear, said one, the breakers roar? For methinks we should be near the shore. Now where we are I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape Bell. They hear no sound, the swell is strong. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. Sir Ralph the rower tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. But even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear. The sound as if with the Inchcape Bell the devil below was ringing his knell. By Robert Southey. In this poem there are 17 stanzas. Now we'll go with stanza wise, one by one stanzas. The first stanza, we'll see the explanation. The first stanza start with no steer and end with in the ocean. Let's see the first stanza. In the first stanza, the poet describes the calmness of the sea and sets the natural setting. The sea was calm and there was no movement in the air. That is why the ship stood still. The sails of the ship were not getting any thrust from the air and were erect. Its keel, which is a metallic or wooden piece that offers support to the whole structure of the ship, was also steady in the ocean. In this stanza, the poet has been depicted the calmness or peace of the ocean and sea, as well as the structure and nature of the ship was sailing in the sea. There was a peace and silence all over the sea, all around the ship. And because of the calmness of sea, the captains of ships, they could sail their boats very silently and properly. Now we'll see the second stanza. Second stanza starts with without and it's end with bell. The second stanza describes the drowsy, mild sea waves. Mild and drowsy means silent waves. The ocean waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock very smoothly. The movement was so slow that it could make the Inchcape bell ring. The waves were not rising up high to hide the dangerous Inchcape Rock and had no power to rock the bell. Therefore, the bell could not make any sound. This is all about the second stanza. In the third stanza, poet talks about the history of the bell that was installed by the abbot of Aberbrothock, sensitive to and fully aware of the risk that ships had while traversing the rocky coast. His intention was to warn them about a possible collision. The bell was connected to a floating buoy chained to the rock. As the waves crashed against the buoy, the bell sounded loud warnings for the seamen to avoid any possible accident or tragedy. Let's start with the fourth stanza. It starts with when the rock and it ends with abbot of Aberbrothock. Let's see the meaning. The poet highlights the fact that the Inchcape Rock was not visible from the sea, especially during high waves. The mariners were made aware of its presence only through the sound of the bell. The grateful seamen thanked and expressed their good wishes to the abbot for his kindness and compassion. Now we'll move towards fifth stanza. Fifth stanza starts with the sun, ends with in their sound. The poet goes on to further detail the picture of the day. It was sunny and bright and filled with vigor and delight. The birds danced and playfully took flight while there remained certain buoyancy in the step of the ship's men. In this stanza, the poet wants to express his vigorous, then his happiness with the pleasant sea and ocean's environment. He is very happy due to the sunny and bright atmosphere. He is feeling like dancing like birds, and he feels very delighted through this pleasant atmosphere. Now we'll see the sixth stanza. The sixth stanza starts with the boy and ends with on the darker speck. In this stanza, the reader gets the first glimpse of the poet, Sir Ralph, who is the captain of the anchored ship. As the day was clear and the waters green, the boy was easily distinguishable as strikingly black. He was standing at the deck, watchfully staring at the boy, a dark spot within the massive blue green canvas of the ocean. In this stanza, the poet first time introduced the captain of the ship. The name of the captain was Sir Ralph, and he was also happy with this pleasant environment, with the happy environment, and he was very eager to sail his ship in the ocean. Finally, all the people, the shipmen, were very happy. They were enjoying on the ship. They were enjoying their life on the ship. Now we'll see the seventh stanza. The seventh stanza starts with he felt the cheering, and it ends with mirth was wickedness. In this stanza, the poet talks about his feelings and emotions. The beautiful day added more cheer and zest to his spirits, and he expressed it through a whistle and a song. This hid the sinister truth, though, that was lurking behind that happy facade. As we have seen, all the shipmen, they were very happy. The captain was enjoying the sailing the boat, and all were singing songs. They are expressing themselves through song. They were expressing themselves through whistle. So all this, the signs and symbols of happiness and enjoyment of the life. Now we'll move towards the eighth stanza. It starts with the boat is lowered and it ends with Inchcape float. The captain ordered his men to lower a boat and hopped on it so as to get close to the boy to uproot it. The devilish thoughts lurking inside the dark mind of the captain stirred some evil thoughts. He wanted to destroy the bell and wreak havoc on the unsuspecting ships. He ordered his men to lower a boat and hopped on it to get close to the boy and the bell mounted on the top of it. He wanted to obliterate the good work and name of the abbot. Now we'll see the ninth stanza. It starts with the boat is lowered and it's end with the Inchcape float. In this stanza, the shipman and the captain rowed the boat to the buoy and the Inchcape rock, harboring it. In one sweep of disdain and brutality, they uproot the bell from its roots. Now the poet paints a picture of an uprooted bell being engulfed by the ravenous sea, and it sinks to its depth. Now, 10th stanza. It starts with down sunk and it ends with abbot of Aberbrothok. As if to make a mournful cry, some bubbles spring around the bell, but soon fizzle away as the bell drowns into the dark emptiness of the sea. The devilish captain is proud of his actions and hopes that no one will ever offer thanks to or shower the abbot with praise for his bell and generosity. Now, stanza 11. The meaning of stanza 11th is, proud of his despicable deed, the captain set the sails on a new journey across many seas and over many days. When he has collected and pirated enough treasure and booty, he heads back to the Scottish shore. Now next is stanza 12. It starts with so thick and ends with died away. Meaning is, the day of his return turns out to be dark and grim. The sub does not shower its warmth, and the whole environment is enveloped in an ominous and hazy blanket of fog. Even the blustering winds of the day have ceased and stalled as well. This is all about stanza 12. Now the next stanza 13. It starts with on the deck and ends with rising moon. The rover captain is stationed at the deck of the ship. The fog has made it impossible to sight the land from a distance. The crew of the sea is anxious and panic stricken, but the rower assures them that there would be light once the moon arrives with the gentler and clearer night. Now we'll move towards the 14th stanza. The starting of 14th stanza is const here and it ends with Inchcape bell. Let's see the meaning. One of the seamen cries out his anxiety as he could not make the position of the coastland as well as the ship. As the waves recede into a mute conspiracy, he laments the fact there is no Inchcape bell to help ease their fears and warn them of the nearing rocky coast. Next stanza, stanza number 15. They hear no sound till Inchcape Rock. Meanwhile, the sea got more turbulent and feisty. There are no alarm bells ringing, and the wind also drops to a standstill. The boat is now in the grip of the waves as it drifts with them. And suddenly there is a loud collision that they all feared. The ship thudded into the Inchcape Rock. It was a doomed finish to a devious beginning. Now let's see the second last stanza, stanza number 16. It starts with Sir Ralph, ends with the beneath the tide. The rower fell into a pit of his own making. The Inchcape Rock had turned into his tombstone. He was aghast at his own horrible mistake, and as the water rushed in from all corners, he knew he had reached his breaking point. He bemoaned his own sinister thoughts as his ship neared its inaudible end. Now we'll see the last stanza. But even till his knell. The explanation is, as poet breathed his last, he finally heard a bell rang in the distance. He was seized with horror. The sound was of the abbot's bell at the belly of the sea. The devil at the bottom had the ball in his hand and was ringing the death knell frequently. It was the final sound of the rover's fateful demise. It was deathly music of revenge, a song of poetic justice. This is the literal explanation of all the stanzas. Here the knell means announcement of death, and that time the sound of a bell as rung, that is known as knell. Now we'll summarize the poem. You will get the gist of the poem with this summary. Inchcape Rock is a poem written by Robert Southey, which is based on the series of events that took place around the dangerous rocks of the east coast of Scotland, bringing out the theme that as you sow, so shall you reap. The poem begins on a calm note, the waves flowing over the Inchcape Rock without any impact. The abbot of the Aberbrothock had placed a bell on the Inchcape Rocks to warn the sailors about the perilous rocks. When Sir Ralph was a pirate in this poem, so he was very jealous on Abbot's popularity. When the Ralph sees the bell, he feels jealous of the Abbot's popularity and decides to cut the bell. And what was the function of that bell? To aware the people, to aware the ships or the captains about the perilous rocks around that area. So he asks his men to sell him to the bell. He cuts off the rope of the bell and the bell goes down with a gurgling sound. Pleased, he was very happy after cutting down the bell. The Ralph moves on and after plundering the ships was returning to his land. Suddenly the weather seems to deteriorate. Thick haze covered the sky. A violent storm began to blow. Something was visible to anyone, but the Ralph was sure that the weather would soon improve. But the sailor wished they could hear the Inchcape bell, and at least the ship collided with the Inchcape Rock and drowned along with all his sailors. But even in his dying fear, one thing the Ralph could hear, it seemed to be the sound of the gurgling bell. But actually, the devil below was ringing his knell. We'll see in Marathi. ॲबॉट नावाचा एक व्यक्ती आहे. त्यांनी इंचकेप रॉक्स म्हणजे जिथं भरपूर दगडांच्या रांगा आहेत, त्या दगडांच्या रांगांवर एक बेल बसवली होती. त्या बेलचा वापर असा होता की तिथून जे सेलर्स जात होते किंवा कॅप्टन जे शिप्स सेल करत होते, चालवत होते, त्या शिप्सला एक वॉर्निंग किंवा अवेअर केलं जायचं की तिथं सगळीकडे दगड आहेत आणि त्या दगडांमुळे त्यांची जर जहाज किंवा त्यांची बोट त्या दगडांना आदळली तर ते तिथं बोट बुडू शकते, म्हणून ती बेल लावलेली असते. पण हा जो राल्फ आहे, जो पायरेट आहे, पायरेट म्हणजे जो बाकीच्या शिप्सला लुटतो, त्यांच्याकडचं जे काही वेल्थ आहे, पैसे आहेत, तो लुटून घेतो, अशा लोकांना पायरेट्स म्हणले जातं. त्याला समुद्री चाचे असं म्हणतात मराठीमध्ये. तर तो एक समुद्री चाचा होता आणि तो बाकीच्या शिप्सला लुटायचा नेहमी. ही वॉज प्लंडरिंग द शिप्स. सो ही वॉज व्हेरी विकेड. त्याला चांगल्या गोष्टी किंवा चांगल्या कृती करण्यामध्ये इंटरेस्ट नव्हता. त्याला असं वाटत होतं की ॲबॉटची पॉप्युलॅरिटी खूप वाढती आहे आणि ॲबॉट हा सगळ्या लोकांमध्ये फेमस झाला आहे. त्याला खूप बुद्धी सुचली आणि त्यांनी असं ठरवलं की ॲबॉटनी जी बेल बसवलेली आहे त्या रॉक्सवर, ती काढून टाकायची. आणि ती बेल काढून टाकल्यामुळे काय होईल, बाकीचे जे सेलर्स येतील, बाकीचे जे जहाज येतील, त्यांना ते रॉक्स दिसणार नाही. त्यांचे जे जहाज आहे त्या रॉक्सवर आदळतील, आपटतील आणि सगळेच्या सगळे लोक मरतील. अशी त्याला एक कुबुद्धी सुचली. म्हणून त्यांनी त्याच्या शिप्सवरच्या लोकांना सांगितलं की त्याला त्या बेलपर्यंत घेऊन जा. तो बेलपर्यंत गेला आणि त्यांनी जो बेल लावली होती त्या बॉयवर, ती बेल त्यांनी तिथून तोडून टाकली. आणि त्याला खूप मनस्वी आनंद झाला की मी ही बेल तोडून टाकली, आता भरपूर लोक मरतील, याचा त्याला खूप आनंद झाला. त्याचं ॲबॉटला दुःख वाटेल पण ह्याला आनंद वाटेल असं त्याने ती कृती केली. पण पुढं असं झालं की जो समुद्र शांत होता, अगदी काम होता, सायलेंट होता, तो आता समुद्र खवळला आणि त्याच्यामुळे या सर राल्फला असं वाटत होतं की नाही, आता हा थोडंसं वादळी वातावरण वाटते, पण हे वादळी वातावरण जे आहे ते संपेल, कमी होईल आणि मग आपण इथून निसटून जाऊ. पण असं न होता त्या वादळी वातावरणामध्ये, वादळामध्ये त्याचं जे शिप होतं, जहाज होतं, ते त्याच दगडाला आपटलं जिथं ती बेल त्यांनी तोडली होती आणि बेल ती तुटून खाली समुद्राच्या आतमध्ये गेली होती. तर तिथं जी समुद्रात बुडालेली बेल होती त्याच ठिकाणी याचं जे जहाज आहे तिथल्या दगडांना ते आपटलं आणि तो त्याच्या जहाजावरील इतर लोकांबरोबर त्याच ठिकाणी त्याची जहाज बुडली. आणि म्हणून इथं असं म्हटलं जातं की नेहमी लोकांच्या भल्याचा विचार करावा. लोकांना हानी पोहोचेल किंवा त्यांना दुःख होईल असं न करता आपण त्यांच्या सुखाचा विचार केला पाहिजे. पण इथं हा जो समुद्री चाचे होते, हे लोकांच्या दुःखाचा, लोकांना कशी हानी पोहोचेल असा विचार केला. परंतु सगळ्यात शेवटी देवानेही त्यांना या दुष्कृत्याचं, या कुकर्माचं एक पनिशमेंट किंवा शिक्षा दिलेली आहे आणि ती शिक्षा म्हणजे मृत्यू होती. आणि शेवटी असं म्हटलं आहे की देव तीच बेल, जी त्यांनी बेल तोडून टाकली होती, तीच बेल तिथं वाजवत आहे जेव्हा या सगळ्या लोकांचा मृत्यू झाला. अशा पद्धतीने हे इंचकेप रॉक ही पोएम आहे. आणि ही रॉक, त्याच्यानंतर ती बेल आणि हे सर राल्फ, या तिघांचाही एक असं तिथं एक पिक्चर तयार केलेलं आहे पोएटनी. ते एक मीन्स ही हॅड बीन डिस्क्राइब्ड द प्रोज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ पोएम. रॉबर्ट सौदे यांनी ही जी पोएम आहे त्या पोएममधून एक स्टोरी सांगितलेली आहे आणि ती स्टोरी अशी आहे की आपण चांगली कर्म करा, जसं तुम्ही पेराल तसंच उगवेल, या म्हणीला ही जी पोएम आहे ती साजेशी आहे. So students, I hope you have understood the poem. If you have any doubt, you can comment me in the comment box. Thank you.